Mr. Robin Sharma has said that writing in a journal reminds you of your goals and of your life. It offers a place where you can hold a deliberate and thoughtful conversation with yourself. A very good afternoon and namaste to the Dean of University of Nigeria, Professor Vincent Onudobu Sir, Professor Wilfred Ukpere Sir, Principal M.D. Kokate Sir, Vice Principal Dr. M.R. Sanghvi Sir, Head of MBA Department Dr. A.R. Bora Sir, faculty members, and my dear friends. I, Dipashri Wagmare, take this privilege to express warmest greetings on behalf of Department of MBA, SNJB's late so KBJ College of Engineering, Sandwar, for the session on moving into a realm of abundant publication in top indexed journals. It is a good portent to start every program with Saraswati Vandana, and now I request our technical team to play Saraswati Vandana. Thank you, Satish sir. To lay the foundation of Jain Convention, I would request technical team to play Navkar Mantra. Namo 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 Namo
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा किसने लाखों को तारा
नमोकार मंत्र है न्यारा किसने लाखों को तारा
इस महामंत्र का जाप करो भवजल से मिले किनारा नमो अरिहंताणम नमो सिद्धाणम नमो आयर्याणम नमो वछायाणम नमो लोये सर्वसाहुणम
नमो लोये सर्वसाहुणम्
एसो पंचनमुक्कारो सर्वपावपणासनो मंगलानन्ते सर्वेसि परममहवै मङ्गलम्
नमो 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 नमो
नमोकार
Thank you, Satish sir. For the short introduction of SNJB Gurukul, I request our technical team to play college documentary. Thank you, Satish sir. Now I request our beloved head of MBA department, Dr. A.R. Bora sir, to give welcome address.
Sir, have lost the connection. I'll just call sir.
Sir, please unmute yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Deepashri. Very good morning, Professor Wilfred and all other international delegates from South Africa. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And a great afternoon to one and all here in India. Today, on behalf of SNJB's late Sir Kantabai Bhavarlaji Jain, College of Engineering, Chandwad, MBA department, I take this privilege to welcome my friend and the resource person of today's international webinar, Professor Wilfred Ukpere from University of Johannesburg, South Africa. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
I also welcome Professor Vincent Onodugo, Dean, Faculty of Business Administration, University of Nigeria, Enugu campus, to grace this webinar by his august presence. Welcome, Professor Vincent. I'm happy to welcome our administrative officer of SNJB, Mr. P.P. Galankar, sir, Principal Dr. M.D. Kokate, sir, Vice Principal Dr. M.R. Sangvi, sir, all other respected principals, heads, and faculty colleagues from SNJB as well as outside SNJB, and the students from SNJB as well as outside SNJB also. A warm welcome to each one of you. Sir, you have just saw the documentary about our SNJB Institute. Now I take this opportunity to briefly introduce our organization, that is SNJB, that is Sri Nemina Jain Brahmacharya Ashram, an educational institution which was established by Sri Keshavlalji Harakchandji Abad in 1928 at Chandwad, a rural place in Nashik district of Maharashtra state. Sir, we offer quality education from pre-primary to PhD at our SNJB campus. It includes primary and secondary schools, diploma, engineering, and pharmacy. We offer undergraduate programs in various disciplines like arts, commerce, science, pharmacy, engineering, and homeopathy. We also offer masters in pharmacy, homeopathy, and management. Around 13,000 students are studying in our SNJB campus, and around 1,000 students can stay at hostels in campus. Our MBA program was started in 2010, and we are consistently moving ahead to deliver the best management education to our students. It is our continuous endeavor to organize various programs for the students as well as our faculty members for their continuous improvement. I would like to thank Honorable Management, Principal and Vice Principal, sir, for giving us permission to organize this international webinar. I would like to thank Professor Wilfred Ukpere for taking out valuable time from his busy schedule to enlighten the students and staff. A special thanks to Professor Vincent Onodugo for taking initiative in organizing this webinar. Last but not the least, thanks to all the international delegates and all the participants for attending this webinar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Wilfred sir has more than 20 years of cognate industrial, academic, and research experience. He has worked with the Central Institute of Management in Ambala, the Central Bank of Nigeria in Abuja, and the Cape Peninsula University of Technology in Cape Town, where sir has lectured and served as the head of department of Entrepreneurship and Business Management. Wilfred Sir has authored 3 books, 2 book chapters, 37 conference presentations, and about 230 journal articles in ISI, IBSS, Scopus, and South African Department of Higher Education and Training accredited journals. Sir was the first National Research Foundation rated researcher in the Faculty of Business at CPUT and has received numerous research-related awards in recognition of his research contribution from CPUT, UJ, and Lona College in USA. So today we have pleasure to listen Professor Wilfred Ukpere Sir with this brief introduction of our esteemed guest. And now I request Professor Wilfred Sir to take over the session.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Much appreciated. I will proceed as requested. Thanks a lot. I think I need to, my slide need to appear now. Okay. Can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. So it will not be
Yes,
so
sir.
much, it will not be so much a quiet section. There may be time when I want to know whether you are still with me. Then I will ask a question, then I will need response. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure, and I say kehale to every one of you. It's a pleasure to be back to India, although it's webinar, but of course, it's like coming back to India, coming back home, because I was once a student in India. I completed my Bachelor's of Commerce at Punjabi University, Patiala, India, and completed my MCom in India at Punjabi University, and I completed another MCom Business Administration from Jiwaji University in Gwalior. So anytime I speak to the Indians, it's like coming back home. And anytime I visit India, it's like coming back home. In fact, I have a family that always receive me like a son whenever I visit India. So, so it's good to be back once again. Thank you very much.
Welcome back home, sir.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, or fellow research colleagues, our topic today will be moving into the realm of abundant publication in top index journals. To proceed, let me see if I can expand the slide. If you cannot, all right, okay, I can proceed as it is. Moving into the realm of abundant publication in top index journals. And of course, the presenter have been introduced. That is my very self. And of course, we can shorten the team to abundant publications in top index journals. Now, before proceeding, I would just like to introduce briefly, currently we are in the 21st century, and of course, we have been actually hit by a very powerful experience, which is, of course, the fourth industrial revolution. And I just want you to know that similar to previous centuries, the importance of research and research outputs cannot be denied or cannot be overemphasized. So research is very, very important and very, very imperative in any walks of life, in any environment. Research is very, very critical. Research is indeed very relevant for everyone in various fields of human endeavors. Can you say very, very important or relevant for everyone in various fields of human endeavor. We cannot do without research nowadays. In fact, the world has progressed to where we are today because of research and of course research output. Because of research and of course research output. Therefore, whether you are an economist, whether you are an engineer, whether you are a scientist, whether you are a businessman, whether you are a policymaker, whether you are a student, whether you are an academic, etc., research is not just important, but imperative. Hence, research will continue to play a pivotal role in human existence. Research will continue to play a pivotal role in human existence. That explains, this could actually explain why many top successful global companies or global organizations spend enormous amount of resources in terms of fund and of course human resources on research and development, which is normally called R&D. That's it. Therefore, the main purpose of research are to inform action, gather evidence for theories, and of course, contribute to developing knowledge in the field of study. That is to say, in short, research is all about knowledge production. You see, most of the knowledge we have today, most of the knowledge we treasure on, most of the things we're doing today, they were research done by our forebears, those who came before us. People like Socrates, people like Aristotle, people like Plato, people like Kamas, people like Adam Smith in the economic arena. What we are studying today are all product of their research. And they have left it for us, the current generation. Therefore, we need to engage in research in order to leave something for our future generation. See? So that is why research is very, very important, because research endures forever. Of course, Adam Smith is dead, Karl Marx is dead, Plato is dead, Aristotle is dead, and of course, many scientists that have left important research for us have passed on, but we are still reviewing, we are still looking at their work, we are still appreciating their work, we are still using their work for human development. That is to say that research lives forever and research never dies. Can you see? Therefore, the objective of this section is to stimulate enthusiasm in research at your school, as well as guide students, academics, and researchers on how to achieve massive publication in top index journals. All right. Why is research important? Let's just look a little bit. According to Zara mentioned 7 reasons why research is important, which is listed below. The first one is that research is a tool for building knowledge and facilitating learning. Can you see? It's a tool for building knowledge. You acquire knowledge, you accumulate knowledge, and of course, you impart the knowledge transfer, can you see, in the form of learning to other people. Can you see? That is one aspect, one of the important aspects of research, or why research is relevant. The next one that is that research is a means to understand issues. It's a means to understand issues as well as increase public awareness. Can you see? Research is a means to understand issues and increase public awareness. And of course, the third one that is that research helps us to succeed in business. Can you see? Research helps us to succeed in business.
Yeah, Wilfred sir, we are not able to hear you.
Hello, Professor Wilfred. You're no more audible.
I think there is a network problem. He's left. He will again join, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he's joined back.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back. You're back. Okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can share the screen again.
Yes, sir.
All
Yes.
right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Continue.
It helps us to succeed in business. That was where I stopped. And of course, research allows us to disprove lies and support truths. Can you see? Research allows us to dispute lies. Can you see? Somebody can have something there and it is made believe. But research enables you to know whether this is actually fundamental truth or not. So research allows us to disprove lies and of course, embrace truth. And of course, the fifth one there is, it is a means to find, gauge, and seize opportunity. Research enables you to find, gauge, and of course, seize opportunities. Can you see? So research opens opportunity. At least if you are in the field of entrepreneurship, research can also guide you in locating opportunity. Of course. And of course, number 6 there is, it promotes a love of and confidence in reading, writing, analyzing, and sharing valuable information. Can you see? So the more you do research, the more you become a great writer, the more you become a good reader, the more you become more critical, analytical in what you do in life. Can you see? I remember when I started research, if I compare what I'm doing today with when I started, I can see that there is astronomy.
I'm copying everything. Yeah.
Can you see?
How are you?
So research
You join the meeting now.
please, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, mute all your voice so that you don't distract other participants, please. So research promotes a love of confidence in reading, writing, analyzing, and sharing valuable information. And of course, the 7th one there is that it provides nourishment. Research provides nourishment and exercise the mind. Can you see? It nourishes a person. And of course, exercise the mind. It makes you a critical thinker. It makes you live longer. Can you see? As a human being, can you see? Research, searching for information. Can you see? Is provide nourishment. And of course, it is like an exercise for the mind. Can you see? When you go to gym to keep yourself fit, research keeps the mind fit. Can you see? So those are the importance of research. But in spite of the above positive aspects of research, many students, academics, and prospective researchers always avoid research for various reasons. At times you hear some academics say, no, I'm a teacher, I'm not a researcher. You cannot be a good teacher if you are not a good researcher. And you say, you research to teach. And you say, you don't just teach textbook, but you have to do your own research to impart knowledge, to transfer knowledge, and to educate the coming generation, our future leaders. Can you see? So if you are a good researcher, you'll be a good teacher. And if you are a good teacher, you must be a good researcher. So research is very, very important in what you do, even in the academic environment. And of course, in every other environment, business environment. You can do without research. And of course, you talk about engineering environment. You can do without research. Can you see? And you talk about other fields of human endeavor in sciences. You can do without research. For instance, we are passing through the phase of COVID-19. And when it started, we were all confused. What can we do? But it took research to start finding solution towards vaccine. Can you see? So research is very, very important and very critical for human living and, of course, endeavor. Right. We'll progress. Now, in spite of this enthusiasm, like I have said, many people try to avoid research. Now, there are certain instances where people give their own excuses why they don't participate in research. Many research mentors, as well as their mentee, always claim that they are writing in the third language. Can you see? They are writing in the second or third language. Can you see? That is some of the excuse people give. Can you see that? We cannot undertake research because we don't know how to express ourselves in the normal English language, of course, which is, of course, the global language. Can you see? Because I say we don't know how to write. So I saw there's no point in engaging in research. That is an excuse. And of course, some of the potential researchers claim that they have not executed real research previously and attributed that as the reason for poor performance. Can you see? But one thing we must keep in mind is that there's always a first day to start something. Can you see? So you cannot totally run away from it because it is important, critical, ubiquitous, and necessary for any aspect of human endeavor, be it in academia and, of course, in industry. Can you see? So we cannot deny the importance and the need for knowledge production. Can you see? And of course, we can also acknowledge some of the facts, which is that tertiary level student grasp of academic tests is below average. That is according to Bodger. Can you see? That many people don't understand when they read, they don't comprehend. That is to say that more than 50% don't comprehend when they read. Can you see? And of course, the second one that is many potential researchers have little or no idea on how to source relevant research materials. Can you see? They don't know how to source relevant research materials, which is, of course, a problem. Then, of course, another problem that researchers is that less attention is paid to journal recommendation styles. Can you see? Of presentation as well as academic writing. Can you see? Every journal or each journal have their styles, their structure, their referencing styles, and how they want their paper to appear. So many people ignore that. That is why they don't get published. That is why their papers are rejected. Can you see? So you need to know the style of a particular journal that you want to contribute paper. And of course, the most important thing is that you must be very good in academic writing to get your paper published. Why academic writing? Of course, academic is the foundation of every other discipline or every other field of human endeavor. And when we write academically, we write objectively. Can you see? Academic writing is not a political track. Academic writing is not writing for a newspaper column. Academic writing has its own principles, its own rules, and its own guidelines. Can you see? When we write academically, we build, we develop on the shoulders of our forebears, which is why we must acknowledge our source of information. And we must reference where we took our information from, even if it has been paraphrased. We must acknowledge our source. That makes it an academic writing. And of course, there are principles that guide academic writing. And there must be a golden thread in terms of what you are writing, from introduction to conclusion. So there are certain rules and principles in terms of academic writing. All right. So these are some of the challenges that confront researchers. All right. We'll progress. So we'll dive more into the problems constraining researchers from publishing in top index journals. The problems can be demarcated between personal issues and, of course, environmental factors. Now, when we address personal issues, the first one there should be lack of confidence. Can you see? Lack of confidence. Many researchers want to publish. Many students want to publish. Many academics want to publish, but they lack confidence. Can you see? They have a lot in their brain. They have a lot in their mind. They have a lot going on within their mind in terms of how to change the world, how to make the world a better place, but they lack confidence. Can you see? They lack confidence to put what they have in their mind, all their knowledge, into writing. See? At times, they get scared. What if they laugh me? Or what if they mock at me for putting down this in a very awkward manner? But there is always a starting point. Can you say? There is always a starting point. So you have to build your confidence. Can you say? It is better to fail and be mocked several times and succeed at last than to keep quiet and your thought will die in you. Can you see? Because knowledge not shared becomes redundant and definitely die in a person. Can you see? Because it is not shared, but it is through research and research output in the form of publication that we share our thoughts. What has been in our mind? What is disturbing us? What is not going well around the world that we want to change or want to improve or want to add value to? Can you see? But if you lack confidence, if you're afraid, certainly those things will remain dormant in you and one day die a natural death. Can you see? Another issue, another problem that affects research is low enthusiasm. Can you see? Low enthusiasm. Can you see? For you to engage in any business, particularly the business of research, you must be enthusiastic about research. Can you see? You should not be like the lecturer that say, I'm a teacher, I'm not a researcher. Can you see? So definitely you need to build enthusiasm. You have to be enthusiastic in that particular research focus or in your field. So if you're not enthusiastic about research, definitely you cannot venture into research, or you cannot move into the realm of research publication, let alone abundant publication. And of course, the next one is, of course, weak perception. Weak perception. Can you say? Normally we say perception differs. Can you see? The difference in perception is that some people have strong perception and some people have weak perception. And like we know from the study of organizational behavior, perception is shaped by many things, by our background, our culture, our family belief, and so many other things. Can you see? So some people have weak perception. Can you see? When they see things, they see it very awkwardly. They see it sharply. Can you see? They don't see it clearly. So also affect their research. All right. And of course, another aspect is passivity. Can you see? Passivity. Can you see? Some people are very passive. They don't engage with their environment. Can you see? That will also affect what you do in your research. That will affect you from venturing into research. That will also affect how you develop knowledge. Can you see? So therefore, one, have to be very active instead of being passive within your environment. Engage with your environment. Know what is happening around you. Read your news. Read a lot. Get information. Watch the international news and network. BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, and all the rest. These will make you to be engaging with your environment. Can you see? Read your Hindustani Times and all the rest. Of course, you will get a lot of information. That will make you to engage with your environment. And of course, not just reading things that affect only India, or for Nigerian candidates that are here that affect only Nigerians, or for South African candidates that affects only South Africa. We are now operating in a global village. Can you see? That is to say that you must engage with the global environment. Can you see? You must not restrict yourself only to the confine of Indian environment or South African environment or Nigerian environment, but you must engage yourself with the globe. Can you see? The global environment. And be well informed. Can you see? And another constraint that a fair researcher, or another constraining factor that a fair researcher is laziness. Laziness. Some students or some people or some academics are very lazy. Can you see? That they are unproductive. Can you see? To be a researcher, you have to be very active. Can you see? You don't have to be lazy. You have to be agile. Can you see? If you tell yourself, I'll wake up like this presentation that I'm presenting today, I didn't sleep throughout yesterday night working on it. Can you see, bringing out something important? Can you see? That is being committed, being agile, and ready to share knowledge. Can you see? Some people can say, okay, I'll wake up around, say, 1 o'clock in the night to engage myself in research, or to write an article, or to write my thesis, or to write my dissertation, and you set your alarm for 1 o'clock in the night. Of course, which is, of course, one of my best time. I like studying in the midnight when everybody's sleeping or when the world is dead. Can you see? That is the best time to assimilate for me. Not when the train Chatabi is running from Delhi to Mumbai, or from one taxi or cycle ratio is moving within your residence. Definitely, it will affect your concentration. Can you see? So some people can say, I'll wake up by 1 o'clock and set the alarm. When it is 1 o'clock, the alarm will start ringing. You see the anger that those people will use in stopping the alarm. Stop disturbing me, and they'll sleep off. Can you see? That is laziness. Can you see? That is laziness. And of course, certainly exercise, physical exercise can, of course, strengthen you in terms of becoming more agile. So laziness is one aspect that constrains researchers from actually making progress or succeeding within the research domain. Another aspect that a fair researcher is overindulgence. Can you see? Overindulgence. Some people overindulge themselves with so many things. Can you see? Some people go to shebeens, or what we call to wine shops after work. And they spend their time there into the night. That can actually affect your productivity in research. Can you see? Can you see? Some overindulge themselves in other aspects like womanizing, of course. That will certainly affect your research. Vice versa. Can you see? So definitely you have to reduce your activities. You have to reduce some of your activities in order not to find yourself within the trap of overindulgence. Overindulgence could be negative and as well as positive indulgence. But both of them affect your research. There are certain individuals in an institution, because you want them to know you, you are in all the committees. Definitely you will not be productive. If you're in all the committees, if they talk committees for social welfare, you are there. If they call committees for quality assurance, you are there. If they call committee for human development, you are there. If they call secondary committees, you are there. If they call research committee, you are there. If they definitely you not have time to engage in research. So definitely there is a need to know the limit in terms of overindulging yourself, both in the workplace and of course in society. Can you see? Within society, some people belong to almost all the meetings in their community. Can you see? They belong to all the meetings in their community. They belong to Lions Club. They belong to Living Heart. They belong to, of course, they are Knight, members of Knight. They are members of different kind of social grouping. That is overindulgence. And definitely such can actually affect your research. All right. Now, we have other factors, apart from personal issues, other issues, which include environmental factors. Can you see? Now, when we talk about the personal issue, those are things that you can actually control, that are within you. Can you see? That are within your limit of control because they are internal. But of course, there are external factors that can actually affect you, which you cannot control, but you can manage. Can you see? And of course, those environmental, for instance, environmental factor can include the institution where you work. If you are in an institution that does not promote research, certainly your research will suffer. Can you see? You cannot make progress in research. If you are in an institution that does not promote or support research, definitely your research will suffer. And of course, I have worked in different institutions. I can share experience in terms of research. I must say that my current institution supports research and promotes research, and which is, of course, what I have accelerated my research. Comparatively, in my former institution, I was doing very great in research. Of course, there is support, but not as my current institution, which is why I have been very successful in the area of research in my current institution, because of the enormous support that I received. And the factors can, of course, affect how we do our research. And of course, including environmental factor, if you're also in an environment where you are overworked, heavy workload, definitely you will not have time to engage in research. You see? That is to say, both managers here and of course, both students should also be very sensitive to the workload they allocate to subordinates. And of course, junior colleagues should also be able to sensitize the management that this workload is not really in the best interest of other aspects of the organization, particularly research. And of course, another aspect within other issues that affect researchers is, of course, weak and discouraging mentors through peers. Can you see? Weak and discouraging mentors through peers. There are instances where a mentor will tell you, guy, no, don't go into research. It's a no-go area because he himself have not succeeded in research. Then he becomes a kind of discouraging mentor. Can you see? I have experienced that also while doing my PhD. I know that there are certain people I engaged that I would like to publish in journals. And they told, Wilfred, that is very difficult. That's a no-go area. Can you see? But of course, there were mentors that I also met, and I told them, I would like to publish. I said, yes, if people are publishing, I don't think they have two heads. you can publish. Those are encouraging mentors. Can you see? Those are encouraging mentors. In fact, I met one mentor when I was rounding up my PhD, and he asked me, Wilfred, have you published a paper in a journal? I said, not yet. He said, you either publish or perish. Can you see? And I was wondering, why is this guy so harsh on me? You know, but now, today, I understand what he meant, that you either publish or perish. Can you see? Particularly in the field of academia. Can you see? If you're not publishing, you will remain a doctor if you have your PhD till you retire, till your retirement. But if you are publishing, then you can answer the title of a professor one day. Can you see? That is different. So remaining a doctor, and most of the colleagues you mentored, you taught in school, become professor and you are still answering doctor. That is, of course, humiliation. Definitely, that is why. And such kind of a person can, out of frustration, resign, because all the people you mentored are professors and you are still answering doctor. And you see, so you have perished if you decide to resign, of course, finally. Then, of course, peers. You can also have discouraging peers. Can you see? Peers that distract you. They distract you. They, of course, tell you that it is not possible. Can you see? That with determination, many things are possible. Is that clear? Is that clear? I want to hear some voice. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Very
yes,
clear,
Prof.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right. So, colleagues, there is a need to break out from these shackles that constrain us from engaging in research, that constrain us from succeeding in research. We need to break from these shackles. Can you see? And move into a new realm. Can you see? The realm of abundant publication. And of course, the realm of publishing in top index journals. Can you see? All right. Now, key drivers of research output. What are the key drivers of research output? The first one there is self-motivation. Can you see? There's nothing we do today without motivating ourselves. Can you see? And when we motivate ourselves, it is a kind of intrinsic motivation. You remember Hasbeck theory of motivation. He spoke about intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And he said, what really motivates us is the intrinsic motivation. What comes from within us, not what comes from outside. You see? So definitely, if you motivate yourself, you will certainly survive and succeed in research. Can you see? You will begin to publish. And one thing about research, once you have started, there is no going back. Once you start succeeding in research, there is no going back. For instance, I have a PhD student that just completed and currently doing a postdoc under me, Dr. Philip Adekambi, you know. And when he started with me, he was telling me, Prof, how can I publish? What is your publication? I don't think I can achieve it. I told him, don't worry, you get there. After passing through me, then I will see how far you go with that. Today, Philip Adekambi has more than 24 research output in Scopus Index journals. Can you see? That is the journey. And 24 research output is almost bringing you closer to an associate professor. Even in some institution, to a full professor. 24 research output can even take you close to a professorship. Can you see? And this is what he has done within even a space of, after his PhD, we publish about at least 3 articles on his PhD. And from the moment he started as a postdoc, we have achieved more than 20 research outputs from his research endeavor. So he's enjoying it, can you see? It gets to the level when you begin to enjoy it because you have succeeded. Once you succeed once, you will continue to succeed. You will continue to build on your success. Can you see? And tell yourself, if I succeed here, definitely I will succeed there. Can you see? Those are the key drivers of research output. Self-motivation is part of that. The second one is excitement. Can you see? Excitement. You have to be excited about the research you do. Can you see? You must be excited. Can you see? If you're not excited about your research, definitely that research is not doable. So definitely you need to have some excitement in terms of the research you do. Can you see? Don't engage yourself in areas that will not excite you. Can you see? Engage yourself in areas within the research focus areas that will really make you excited. So you need to be more excited in terms of the research you do. And that is one of the key drivers of research outputs. Can you see? Another aspect, another key driver of research output is confidence. Can you see? Build your confidence. Be very confident. And in fact, in most of the cases, I always tell my mentees, be bold and beautiful. Can you see? Be bold and beautiful. Don't shy away. Write it down for me. If it is wrong, I will tell you it is wrong. Why not put it in this way? Why not phrase it in this way? Why not work it in this way? It becomes a learning curve. Can you see? But if you're afraid to deposit it on your paper, if you're afraid to write it down, I will not read it. I will not correct you, and you will not learn. Is that clear? So you have to be bold and beautiful. Put it down. That is why you have mentors. That is why you have supervisors. That is why you have senior colleagues. Can you see? That will guide you and put you through in the research, within the research domain. Of course, within a research activity to help you to succeed. Can you see? And of course, another key driver of research output is scan and engage with your environment. Can you see? It's very important that you scan your environment, know what is happening around your environment, and engage with your environment. Don't be passive. Can you see? Engage with your environment. Can you see? Know the political issues affecting your environment. Know the economic issues affecting your environment. Know the social issues affecting your environment. So engage with your environment. Can you see? Be vast in information. Can you see? Get a lot of information. Because the world cannot move without information. Business cannot progress without information. And right information. All right. Another key driver of research output is enthusiasm and passion. Can you see? Enthusiasm and passion. You have to be enthusiastic about your research focus area. And of course, the research you engage in. You have to be enthusiastic and you have to be passionate about it. I see. Passionate about it. If you don't have a burning passion, definitely you cannot succeed in research. I see. So you have to be passionate about it. And of course, passion, enthusiasm comes with the more you do it. You see, the more you engage with it. Let it be something that gladdens your heart, what you are doing. Can you see? Or the research you are engaging in. And another key driver of research output is that one needs to associate with successful peers and mentors. Can you see? If you notice a discouraging mentor, avoid him. Can you see? Before you become like him or her. Can you see? And of course, associate with successful peers. Of course, associating with successful peers can, of course, lead to research collaboration, where you learn from each other. We'll talk about collaboration later. All right. We'll progress. How to execute a successful research project. And in fact, in terms of my presentation at Namibia University of Science and Technology, I was able to actually catalog about 14 cardinal points for successful research or for success in research. The first one is that one needs to select a nice topic that you love and are passionate about. Can you see? Select a topic that you love so much and passionate about. I remember when I was selecting a topic for my PhD, there was one topic that I came across when I was doing my master's in India, which was the topic of globalization. The topic was so fascinating to me, how the world can become a global village and how there will be a kind of cross-border movement without interaction. That was what we had when globalization unfolded or when globalization emerged. So I was so intrigued by that topic. And when it came to time to select a topic for my PhD, I told myself, anything I am going to do will be linked to globalization. Can you see? And that is how I choose the topic. I choose the topic within that particular domain, within that particular area. Can you see? And I became passionate about it. I love the topic. And that likeness drove my passion for that topic. Can you see? So the next one is set your research plans and target. Can you see? You don't do research haphazardly. You need plans. In everything, one needs plans. Can you see? Plan your research. That is why, in fact, when people write their proposal, we tell them to give us date and outlines in terms of when they will complete this particular section, introduction, and of course, problem statement, objective, and the rest, then the literature review, and of course, the methodology, and of course, the findings, of course, that data analysis, and of course, your discussion of findings, and then certainly your conclusion. We want to know the timeline. Can you see? That timeline enables you to plan. Can you see? How to meet a particular target. So set your research plans and targets and work towards them. Be disciplined. Be very committed to your plans and targets. Just like businesses have targets, certainly individuals should have targets in what they do, both in the academic arena, both in the workplace, and of course, in their day-to-day activities at home. All right. So the next aspect is, of course, number 3 is reduce some of your social contacts and activities. Can you see? Reduce some of your, if you want to succeed, reduce. I'm not saying you must eliminate all social contacts, no, but reduce some of them. If you have a project at hand, if you have a target at hand, then there's a need to reduce so many other unproductive social contacts and activities. Then, of course, the next one, which is number 4, is there's a need also to renegotiate with family on family terms, just temporarily when you are busy with a project. Can you see? You renegotiate with your family, with your kids, with your children, and of course, your husband or your wife in terms of family terms. Can you see? And of course, you plan how to fulfill those obligations related to family. Can you see? So there's need for sacrifice also in everything we do. And of course, the next one, number 6, is always follow up with feedbacks. Always follow up with feedback. Whether the feedback is from your supervisor in an academic environment, or it's a feedback from a journal by reviewers or by the editor of the journal, try your possible best to follow up. Can you see? And of course, another thing I want to let you know is that you must take criticisms from your supervisor and reviewers positively. Can you see? Don't frown about criticisms. Can you see? Take them from a positive angle. If you are not clear about what they are saying, give them a call or go to their office and seek for clarity. Can you see? So always follow up with feedback and take criticism from reviewers or supervisors positively. Number 7 there is disturb your mentors. Can you see? If you are not sure or if you have any doubt, can you see? Don't just wait, don't just relax, don't just be cowed, don't just be afraid to approach your mentor, to ask him questions. Can you see? So disturb your mentors. That is why they are paid to mentor you. Can you see? Particularly those within an established academic environment. Can you see? Stop them if you are not sure of what you are doing. And of course, number 8, there should be a cordial and good relationship between a student and supervisor. That is very, very important for success in research, particularly in terms of academic project like dissertation and of course thesis. There should be a cordial and good relationship between a student and a supervisor. That is very, very important. That is the only way you can publish your papers in a journal output. Because if there is a good relationship between yourself and your supervisor will be praying for you to go. Even some supervisor can even frustrate you to leave the system. But some will be praying for you to go, and once you are gone, he's not even interested in your article because he doesn't want his name to appear in your article, you see, in the first place. So there should be a cordial relationship between a supervisor and, of course, a student. Then the next one is read a lot of materials, read a lot of books, read a lot of journal articles, read a lot of materials, whether it is magazine, whether it is newspaper related to your research focus. You see, now ignore that. Reading is very, very important. The more you read, the more you see other people's style of writing, and the more you develop your reading and writing skills. Can you see? So read a lot of materials related to your research focus. Number 10 there is pick interest whenever and wherever your research focus is being discussed. Can you see? Then number 11 there is jot down or put down anything that comes across your mind that is related to your research. Anything that comes to your mind. Can you see? Research is also spiritual. Can you see? Research is also spiritual. I'm bold to say this all the time. There are instances where you are engaging yourself in a research and all of a sudden, an information will just fly into your mind. Can you see? Write it down immediately. But when that information is gone, it is gone forever. That is the spiritual aspect of research. That is, of course, the higher powers bringing message to you related to your research. That is why I say it is spiritual. Can you see? It is spiritual. That is information from above. Can you see? Sometimes it comes when you are engaging in research. It can come even in your dreams. Can you see? Jot it down when you wake up. It can come just when you are walking, and because the research is in your mind, and information related to your work will just come. Jot it down immediately and see how it can contribute or shape your research. You see? Then, of course, number 12 there is don't be scared or shy to put or pen down something after critically evaluating it during your write-up, because it may make sense to someone else. Can you see? You might be writing something, you tell yourself, oh, this is not making sense to me. Can you see? You don't need to abandon it. Write it the way it is. It may not make sense to you, but it may make sense to somebody else. Can you see? And most of the development we have today in the world could have been perceived as foolishness when they were not in existence. For instance, the airplane we fly today. And of course, some of the development. When airplane was not in existence, maybe if the inventor was talking about issues related to somebody flying from, for instance, India to America in the air, they will mock at the person. What are you talking about? Can you see? So that could have been perceived as stupidity. But today, the human mind, the human brain has conceived the airplane. And so many inventions that we have today, some of them may not make sense. And of course, future inventions that will hit us may not be making sense to us today. Can you see? So that is why I say, don't be scared or shy to put down something after critically evaluating it during your write-up, because it may make sense to someone else. Then number 13, choose the easiest methodology. Can you see? Choose the easiest methodologies that you are more familiar with for your research or in executing your research. We have so many variants of methodology. We have, of course, qualitative research methodology. We have quantitative research methodology. We have mixed method research methodology. And beneath each of the methodologies, there are also different strands. Can you see? So choose the easiest one that you are more familiar with. Don't do quantitative if you are not quantitative oriented. Do qualitative research. Can you see? Don't do qualitative if you are quantitative oriented. Do quantitative research. Can you see? And of course, there's a mixed method, which is a combination of the quantitative and qualitative. Can you see? That's the range within the research environment. But of course, choose the easiest methodology that you are more familiar with for your research. That is how you can enjoy your research. I have seen people who choose quantitative when they are really qualitative oriented, and when they get to the methodology aspect and data analysis, they just stop forever. Can you see? And I have seen some people who are quantitative oriented and they say, okay, I want to do mixed math, and they get stuck. Can you see? Which is, of course, why research collaboration sometimes is good. If you want to venture into other methodologies, look for somebody who is good in that particular methodology. Can you see? So that, of course, you can be the content expert and the other colleague can be a methodology expert. Can you see? Then, of course, the 14th one is consider looking at successful articles. And, of course, theses. Consider looking at successful articles, as that can be a sure-sounding process. Okay? For you to succeed, you need a portrait. You need to see those who have succeeded, and you need to see what they wrote, what they have in their papers. That will certainly shape your thought. Can you see? And when you read other people's work, it stimulates you. Can you see? After all, if this person can succeed, I can succeed. I remember when I started publishing with some of my honor students. Each of the year, when I start my section, I forward all the successful publication of my honor students to the current honor students. And they are motivated. I will tell them, guys, this was published by your mates, the previous year honor students. So if they can do it, you can do it. And you see, and they are stimulated. And before you know it, even they can do better than the previous honors. You see? So that is the most important aspect of that. Yes? Is there anybody talking to me? Okay, I'm hearing a voice there. That is why I said people should mute their voices until you want to respond when I ask if you are still with me. Thank you. Right, we progress. Why must we publish our papers in an academic journal? Or why must you publish your paper in an academic journal? The first thing there is that, of course, your article is permanent because published papers enter a permanent and accessible knowledge archive known as the body of knowledge. Can you see? So when we contribute papers to journals, we are contributing to the body of knowledge. Can you see? Knowledge archive. And other people read your work and other people cite your work. Can you see? Other people cite your work. Can you see? Today, I get a lot of citations from US, from Australia, from India, from Nigeria, from Togo, from Mali. Your name travels because your paper has joined, has become part of a body of knowledge. Can you see? Another reason why you must publish your paper in a journal whether it is a paper from your thesis or an article that you have. Okay, are you still hearing me, please?
Yeah, we're hearing now.
I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, cool. All right. So
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So another reason why you need to publish your paper in an academic journal is that your article is improved through the intervention of proofreaders. Through intervention of proofreaders, reviewers, journal reviewers, or those who review for journals, sub-editors of journals, and of course, the main editor of journals. Can you see? Your paper is improved. When you receive feedback and address your paper and get back to them. I remember a paper I co-authored with a colleague recently. And in fact, the reviewers were able to locate some limitations in the paper, which we did not acknowledge in that paper. Can you see? Some limitation in the paper. Can you see? And I was able to now write a section in the paper where I have to acknowledge the limitation of the paper. Can you see? So that is because the reviewer has been able to review and discover that there's a limitation in this paper that need to be acknowledged. Can you see? The paper is not bad, but you need to acknowledge if there's any limitation to your paper. Both your thesis, you need to acknowledge limitations. Can you see? So your article is improved through the intervention of your proofreaders or editors, reviewers, sub-editors, and of course, the main editor. Can you see? Now, another reason why you must publish your paper in an academic journal is that your paper is actively published and it becomes available to a far greater audience. And you see, your paper is actively published and it becomes available to a far and greater audience. Can you see? I tell you, nowadays I receive a lot of emails from institutions in the US, from institutions in Romania, institutions in Namibia, to please present a talk about some of my papers. Can you see? And at times I see citation from some of the cities I don't even know. Can you see? Can you see? So your paper becomes available to a wider audience. People you don't know, people that do not even know who you are, they cite you, they acknowledge you. More people read your work. More academic institutions subscribe to your publications. Can you see? So your paper is actively publicized when you publish, and it becomes available to a far greater audience. Can you see? Than yourself or your family, as the case may be. Can you see? Why must you publish your paper in an academic journal? Your writing becomes trustworthy. Another important thing why you need to publish is that your writing becomes trustworthy because materials which has been published carries what we call quality assurance stamp. Quality assurance. If you have published in journals like the Emirate journals, or you have published in some top index journals, at the corner of your paper or the journal paper, you will see a stamp, either in a four corner. Can you see? That is quality assurance stamp. That this paper has undergone quality assurance. Can you see? In other words, someone apart from the author think that the paper is good. Can you see? So that is quality assurance. Then, of course, another reason why you have to publish or you need to publish in an academic journal is it is a source of networking and recognition. Your publication becomes a source of networking and publication. In so many instances, many people have engaged me in their research because of the previous research I have done. Can you see? They see me as the expert in that field, and they involve me in their research. So it becomes a source of networking. And today, many conferences invite me to be part of their conferences. That is networking. My research, my publications is what is calling me. It's what is, attracting people to me. Can you see? And recognition. I have been recognized in many human endeavor. In fact, in 2019, I was awarded the Life Achievement Award by Marcus Hughes in the US. And I received, in fact, the plaque last year. Can you see? So recognition, it becomes a source of recognition. I have received so many awards from my current institution, University of Johannesburg. And I have received also so many awards also from the University of Nigeria, where I serve as a visiting professor also. And of course, I have also received so many awards and acknowledgement from Anna College in the USA. And, so it becomes, your publication becomes a source of networking and of course, recognition. And of course, your publication, why you need to publish in an academic journal is that it is a source of income in some institution. For instance, in South Africa University, research output is a source of income. Can you see? The Department of Higher Education and Training normally grants some research subsidy for publications. Can you see? To publishers or to institutions. Can you see? In order for them to execute more research and to engage in more research. So it becomes a source of income for researchers and universities in different countries. I don't think South Africa is the only country practicing that. There are other countries in Europe that also practice that. You see? And of course, why must you publish your paper in an academic journal? You need to publish your paper in an academic journal because it is a source of promotion in one's academic career. In one's academic career. So if you want to be promoted, if you want to excel within the academic career, if you don't want to perish, can you see? Then publish, can you see? And of course, get promoted to the highest level within the academic firmament. All right. Great, we'll progress. Now, where do you start the journey? This journey of massive publication in top index journal or in reputable journals. Are you working on a master's or doctoral thesis? Have you rounded up a project which ended successfully? Are you struggling with a problem with no clear solution? Have you an opinion or observation on a subject? Have you presented a paper at a conference? If you have done all this, or if you are within these brackets, you have the basis of a publishable article in reputable journals. Can you say? If you have all this, if you can answer all these questions, definitely you have a basis for a publishable article in reputable journals. Now we talk about structure of an academic article. To also open our mind. I know some of the academics already know the structure, but of course, for our emerging academics or budding academics, or of course, a young academics, we need to still give just a glimpse of the structure of an academic article. First and foremost is the topic or the title of your paper. Then, of course, that is followed by your abstract. And I have spoken why you need to choose a very good title, and a title that you love so much. And of course, abstract. Abstract is just a summary, a kind of short snapshot of what your article is all about. Can you see? So that is your abstract. Telling your readers what your paper contains. That is your abstract. St. Jonas recommend between 150 to 170 words for abstract. You see, that is from journal to journal. But St. Jonas also are silent about the number of words for an abstract. And of course, the next one is your keywords. Can you see? Keywords is just the major words that you have used in that particular article. Can you see? That are related to your article or related to your research. Then the next one there is introduction. It's the introduction of your article. Or of course, some people say introduction and background. You see, but the introduction is okay. Within the introduction, you can of course also give kind of some hint about your background. Then in some instances, what is needed also is your problem statement. Just a kind of show your readers what the problem is that you want to solve or that you want to unravel, can you see, within your article. And of course, the next one is your research question, of course, statement. You ask a question that stems from that problem statement. Then the next aspect is your research objective. Stating your objective. What is the purpose of this research? What is the objective? What will this research achieve? That is your objective. Then, of course, the next one is your literature review. Literature review is going back to the archive. What have your forebears done in that research focus area? Or what have previous researchers done within that particular research focus area? Or what did they say? What did they say related to that particular topic? Can you see? They have left different research. Of course, literature review is looking at what others have done within your research topic or research focus. Then, of course, the next one is your research methodology. I've spoken about the different methodology, quantitative, qualitative, mixed method. Can you see? Your methodology is how you will go about to operationalize your research, how you will carry out your research. It's just like the architectural design of a house. Can you see? That's your methodology. Definitely you construct, you do your drawing for the house, the plan, the housing plan, then you start executing, begin to fix the bricks and all the rest. So your methodology is how you go about to execute your research. And the next one is, of course, data analysis. Can you see? Data analysis for quantitative research, and of course, critical analysis for qualitative research. And of course, some people, instead of using data analysis, some people normally use findings for qualitative research, and of course, result for quantitative research. Can you see? And of course, the next one in terms of the structure is discussion of findings. Can you see? Discussion of findings, where you discuss your findings and relate your findings, your current finding with extant literatures, existing literatures within your field. Can you see? That is why you are executing your research. And that is what also enables the research to achieve what we call a golden thread. Because you use your current findings, some people just do their finding without relating their finding back to the literature they did in their paper, whether article or thesis. That is not the best way. Can you see? If you have arrived at your finding, you don't just list your finding. You have to discuss it, relating your current finding with extant literature, existing literatures that you have reviewed in the same thesis or in the same paper. You see? So you show how your current findings. There's a noise there, please. If you are the one making the noise, can you please reduce that? So the most important thing is that you have to use your current finding to corroborate previous researches that have been done. whether there is an alignment, whether there is a disalignment, whether there is an agreement, whether there is a disagreement, whether there is a kind of conformity with previous research, or whether the current research discompares with previous research. That is the main reason for research finding. Can you see? So discussion of research. So you must relate it to the literature in your paper. And of course, once you have done that, the final aspect is of course recommendation and conclusion. Some do recommendation, then conclude. And of course, with a recommendation and conclusion, it is not a kind of, it is not casted in stone that you have to first do recommendation before conclusion. There are people that will conclude and say, from this conclusion, the following recommendation is proposed, or the following recommendation is worth noting. But there are some people that will just write their recommendation first before they conclude. It depends on the kind of writing style. And of course, depends on the journal also. I remember during my supervisor, Professor Andres Sloba, told me that it is better to conclude at last. He said, that is why it is called conclusion. Better to conclude at last. Can you see? That you don't recommend again after you have concluded. That is so perspective. And I have always maintained his view, because he was my mentor, can you see? And I'm a pupil of Professor Slabat. All right. So that is in terms of the structure of an academic article. All right. Clarification of structure. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm 15 minutes to go, you can let me know so that I can round up on time. I don't want to belabor you. All right. So the next one there is, of course, clarification of structure. Just a simple clarification of structure of an article. For instance, in terms of the first one there is the title, which is, of course, 1 to 2 lines is enough. And in fact, the character of your title should not be more than 12 wordings. Can you see? You don't need very long title. Can you see? It should be short and clear. Eye-catching, can you see? Very eye-catching. It's something that people will just catch with their eyes. And, oh, wow, this title looks beautiful. Can you see? So definitely, it should be just 1 to 1.5 lines. And of course, the next one is, of course, the abstract. The abstract of your article should just be between say about maximum 100, 150 words. But like I said, some journals don't mind, you know, if you decide to exceed that, you know. For instance, most of the Emirate journals have a kind of structured abstract where you have to write your introduction, you have to write your methodology, you have to write your findings, you have to write the type of research, whether it is a conceptual paper, whether it's a research paper, whether it's a case study. Emirate journals normally have structured abstract. Can you see? Then, of course, the next one there is your keywords, which should be within 1 line, of course, also. Then, of course, your introduction and background should not be more than 1 to 1.5 pages in terms of your article. Then, of course, your problem statement, research questions, and research objective should not be more than, of course, 1.5 pages in terms of that. Or half page, if possible, in terms of your problem statement, research question, and of course, objective. Should not be more than half page of your article. Then the fifth one there is your literature review. Your literature review for an article, I think 6 pages is sufficient for a literature review. And of course, your research methodology for an article, not a thesis. For an article, half a page is enough to summarize your methodology. You know, is enough to summarize your methodology. Half a page of an A4 paper, that is what I meant. Then, of course, your literature review, I have mentioned that. Your research methodology, half a page. Then the next one is your data analysis or critical analysis or findings. Or if you want to embed them together, your research methodology should be half a page. Your data analysis and all the discussion should be 2.5 pages. Then, of course, your recommendation and conclusion should be approximately 2 pages. And of course, your references, guidelines available. Your references, guidelines, at least 10 to 20 references. Yes, I can hear you. What is the question? I saw your hand raised up.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So I have a question that you can say an example on commerce-related research topics.
Example of commerce-related research topics. Hello? Is that what you asked?
Yes.
Okay, example of commerce-related topics. There are so many examples of commerce-related topics. For instance, if I'm talking from my area of research focus, you can talk about the impact of fourth industrial revolution on the automobile company. That is a good example of commerce-related topic. Can you see? So there are so many research-related areas. Of course, reason for rising unemployment in South Africa could also be a commerce-related topic. Can you see? Or a topic like exploring the problems of unemployment in India, or the challenges confronting youths with regards to unemployment in India. So those could be commerce-related topics. And there are so many topics. That is why I say it is your choice as the researcher to choose the best topic that you can actually engage in or venture into. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Fantastic. All right. Then the last one, the references, I have mentioned that at least 10 to 20 references for a journal article is okay, as the case may be. There are some journals that may want additional references. That is, of course, from journal to journal. All right. We'll progress. Important guidelines. I don't think there is need to, I will just read out this fast so that we move into the main thing. Important guideline, the title of a table should appear at the top of the table for your thesis, in your thesis or in your article. The title of a figure should appear at the bottom of the figure. Now, of course, graphs and table must be explained to the reader. Can you see? You don't just put a graph and table without explaining it to your readers. Can you see? Each graph, each table, each must be, and there should be a little narrative under it. According to the above graph, or according to the above table, or in the above table, or in table 10, 25 people agreed, or 50% of South Africans are unemployed, or, you know, you have to explain it. Tell us what the table contains. You don't just put figures or graph without telling us. So you need to. Graph and table must be explained to the readers. Important features have to be highlighted, and the central message has to be interpreted to the readers. Now, the content of an article should ideally consist of an introduction, the body, and a conclusion. Insufficient attention to any one part of the treatise weakens the overall value of the article. So can you see it? So insufficient attention to any one part of an article weakens all the other articles. Can you see? If you have robust introduction, and of course you have robust methodology and discussion of finding, and of course your literature review is not robust, that weakens your paper. That is why you see in some paper, some journals will refer you to, you don't have literature review. Go and rebuild your paper. Let your paper be grounded in literature. Can you see? So, and of course, if you have good literature and you are not able to analyze your paper properly, definitely, of course, that paper also suffers. Can you see? So, everything must be in sync. And of course, everything must be in a high standard, of course. So the next one is an introduction should at least cover the following, which is of course background, all right, okay, which is of course background of your paper. I think I have actually touched that, the aims, and of course the objective, I've touched that. Let me not belabor myself on that. And of course, a thorough analysis of all the related concepts being addressed in the article is required. They see a need for a thorough analysis of all related concepts in the paper. It cannot be assumed that the reader has sufficient knowledge to fully grasp all the author's argument if vital information has been omitted in the earlier part of the article. Can you see? So you cannot just assume that, of course, the readers will understand, they will know. No. Some of your readers are laymen in your research area. Can you see? They're laymen. So you need to explain some critical concepts, some constructs. You need to analyze properly. You need to clarify things for your readers. Because you are not writing only for your discipline. You are not just writing for your faculty. You are not just writing, but you are writing for the whole world to see. Because once a paper is published, and appears, for instance, on Google Scholar, you have left your paper for the whole world to read and to see. So nobody will start calling you again to come and clarify what you have in your paper, which is why you have to clarify them from the onset. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes,
is that clear?
Yes,
Great. Okay. So such kind of shortcomings can even make a reviewer to reject your papers. If your explanation is not clear to him, he will certainly assume that it will not be clear to even the layman in the street. If the content expert who is reviewing your paper is not actually understanding what you have stated, definitely there is no way a layman or somebody in the street can understand. If a professional in your field who is reviewing your paper is not understanding your analysis or what you are writing in your paper, definitely an outsider, somebody who is not in your field, cannot actually understand it. So you need to clarify certain things in your paper. Also, it is vitally important to keep the key questions of the articles in mind throughout the article writing phase. So you see, you need to keep the key questions of the article so that you don't derail from the main objectives. Can you see? From the main question the paper is trying to address. Can you see? Guide against unnecessary deviation from the theme. Only include materials which meaningfully contribute to answering of your research themes, from questions to objective. Can you see? Remember to always relate the discussion to the actual article topic or to the actual research topic. Can you see? That is some of the emphasis we always lay in the IPPM department at the University of Johannesburg. And that is how you can actually achieve what we call the golden thread in research or in article writing or thesis writing. Right. Other important guideline, concentrate on creating continuity on your writing. Concentrate on creating continuity. Don't let a breakage in terms of what you are explaining. Avoid including irrelevant information and try to make sure that every single sentence meaningfully contributes to the central theme. You see? Sections, paragraph, and sentences must follow one another in a logical and systematic manner. Can you see it? That is why at the end of every section in your research, see how you can either directly or indirectly introduce the next section. Can you see it? That is how it will flow sequentially. It will flow seemingly. Can you see? And of course, viewpoint have to be backed up by critical study of the literature. Scientific weight can only be granted to arguments to viewpoint which have been thoroughly documented, argued in scientifically acceptable sources of reference. Can you see? So a critical analysis of literature is required. A critical analysis of literature is required. It is not sufficient to simply summarize the idea of others without actively utilizing the information to sharpen your research focus. Can you see? Now you don't just, literature is not just reviewing. This one says this one, you have to show how they have. In fact, they are related, they are connected to what you are doing as a researcher. Can you see? That is why sometimes also it is important for the researcher to engage with the literature, where you see the viewpoint, which is also sometimes called natural scientific approach, where you engage with the literature on the view of two authorities, and you, as a middleman, takes your own position. Either you are supporting this authority because of this, or you are disproving this authority because of this, or you have decided to take a different perspective from both of them, which is the middle point. Can you see? So you need to also engage with your literature. All right. So give sufficient attention to your conclusion. Sufficient attention to your conclusion. I always tell some of my students, how can you write this beautiful piece or this beautiful thesis and conclude very weakly or conclude very shabbily? Can you see? You have done a work of almost 6 months, and in your conclusion, you don't even know how to connect your conclusion to what you have done. Can you see? So conclusion is very, very important. Give sufficient attention. If you don't conclude properly, definitely your paper will be rejected, and you cannot achieve abundant publication. Give sufficient attention to your conclusion. The conclusion serves to integrate all the previously mentioned argument into a proper synthesis. Okay, I can see Katori, you are raising your hand. Can I hear you now? Katori.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah, I'm with you. Katori.
Sir, one question is there.
Okay, I'm hearing you. Nikita, I'm still hearing you.
Yeah, Nikita, ask your question. Sir is waiting. Because we are short of
Nikita,
time. Ask the question.
Nikita, be bold and beautiful.
Sir?
Okay. Okay. Nikita, you have a question?
Sir. Yes.
Okay, I'm hearing you.
Can you tell us that how to practice research papers?
Can I hear you again?
Ria, can you say?
Yes, sir. Sir, she is telling how to practice research papers. Can you tell us methodology?
Can I tell you what?
Can you repeat?
Sir, they are asking how to practice the research paper or how to study the research paper. What methodology we should use to proceed for the research, in short.
Oh, okay. In terms of how to study research paper, if I get your question, if that is your question, definitely that is what I have mentioned earlier on, that you have to download already successful articles, previously done research, so that it gives you a kind of guidelines in terms of how to actually also execute your own research. Of course, definitely you have to read a lot of other publications, particularly journal publications. That will also strengthen you and, of course, give you a guideline in terms of how to actually conduct your own research. Can you see? So I think that is what I have been talking right from time, and the business we are doing now is actually how to get yourself published. Can you see? And one aspect of it is that you should take up a kind of journal project or article writing project. Or of course, if you are doing your master's currently, you can of course also publish from your master's project. I remember when I was supporting Trinity University of Science and Technology in the MBA class. Initially, when the class started some years ago, there was no real research component in that particular class. But along the line, the school, the business school, saw the need to include research component into the course outline. And now I tell you, many people have published some of the MBA works from that particular school, the Trinity University of Science and Technology. So, which is something good. And I know that I'm addressing some of the MBA department here. Certainly, from the MBA work, the research that you will undertake in the MBA course, you can look at how to actually get them published in a journal, or a reputable journal. And of course, how to get them published in journal, you already have the structure of your thesis, which is not very much different from the structure of an article. So, and of course, you need to also look at already published articles in top journals so that you see the structure of a particular journal that you want to submit an article. Now, by so doing, you'll be able and you will know how to also develop your own article and, of course, publish your own article. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Katori. All right. Katori, that your name is very good. When I was doing my, I say your name is related to one of the textbooks I have read, the methodology also in India. It's yes, one famous author, I think,
Kothari.
Yeah, Kothari, yeah.
Research methodology by...
Yeah, research methodology by Kothari. I have read that during my master's work.
Actually, we are short of time and we have one more question from Dr. Chinwe.
Okay. Yes, the Chinwe is now an associate professor. So she's associate professor Chinwe. Hello, Professor Okeozu. Can we hear your voice? Can you unmute your voice?
Okay, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, hello, Prof.
How are you?
Hello, Prof.
How are you, Prof?
I'm good. I'm good.
Great.
Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation.
Thanks a lot.
Just a little clarification for all you have said, so that early careers will benefit a lot. Okay.
Okay.
Assuming one is a bit unfortunate and is in an environment with discouraging mentors. Okay. Or put it in another way, senior colleagues that are not research oriented, they just get by. So for the young careers, how do they face two major challenges? One, how do they struggle to acquire the skill? Knowing very well that, no one is born with the skill must be acquired. And unfortunately, in the environment that they have found themselves, they do not have good mentors. Again, it would be nice if you can also look at a lot of a practical guide, because you also strengthen one important issue, that when you write, it's important to assess data and also maybe statistical issues. If not, your paper will just be, you're speculating. So people that are in environments where they do not have strong mentors or strong colleagues when it comes to research, how would they survive on these issues? Thank you, Prof.
Okay. Thank you very much. That is actually a very good question. Of course, within that particular environment, first and foremost, you will also see some hardworking people or hardworking mentors. As a young academic, you should identify with that mentor and see possibility of working under such mentor. But alternatively also, one is not caged to a particular environment. If you are in an environment that is not actually encouraging what you do or what you like to do, certainly engage with other environment. For instance, if you are within like a photo, and you notice that people in that universities are not supporting research, then you realize that people at University of Nigeria are encouraging and supporting research. Definitely, you cannot remain in photo, you cannot continue to do your things in photo, then see possibilities of collaborating and learning from people at the University of Nigeria. So that is why I say we are operating in a global environment, not even only within the confine of Nigeria. You can also get international mentors. Can you see? International mentors are available. Approach them. Some of them are really willing and ready to support. You know, I remember in so many instances, I do receive young colleagues from other West African countries like Ghana, or telling me that even from India, that they would like me to be their mentor. You know, I do receive those requests from ResearchGate or something of that nature, and I give them the support that I can actually give to them. I remember some time back that was in 2010 when I went to Punjabi University to deliver a keynote speech. I think one of the young doctors then approached me after delivering my lecture that he will want me to, support his research idea, and I started giving him also support. Although not that they don't have mentors there, but maybe he needed also extra guide from outside, an international extra support, And the colleague all of a sudden picked up, and today he's an associate professor also at Punjabi University, Patiala. Can you see? So these are ways to go about it. If you are within an environment, that is why I say one can manage it. One cannot change so much about that environment, but one can manage it and look for other ways of trying to actually get what you really want to get, or how you will actually succeed within that particular environment. And of course, you can become a change agent if you have succeeded in a very difficult environment, and people will start looking, how is this boy succeeding? And people will also want to learn from you. And of course, when you succeed, mentor more mentees. Can you see? So that of course we can have a lot of mentors. I remember what one of my mentors, Professor Narinder Kapoor at Punjabi University, told me when I was appointed as a professor. He called me and said, Wilfred, you have been raised to the position of leadership, create other leaders. So definitely, when we succeed through our environment or other environments, we must also try our possible best to mentor other mentors or mentor other leaders that will mentor other mentees. Thank you very much. Is that clear?
Thank you very much, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll progress. The next one there is, any other question?
No, sir.
Okay.
No questions.
Okay, thank you very much. We progress.
Out of time.
Is our, yeah, time. How many minutes is left for me? Is it 30 minutes?
Actually, our college timing was till 4:30, but we can continue till 5 minutes.
Yeah, how many minutes is left? Just give me the right time so that I can see how to speed up. Yeah.
You have to speed up, sir, so that.
How many minutes is left?
We can finish in 5 minutes.
How many minutes? 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, just give me 10 minutes. Let me round up. All right. So let me not belabor myself here. I'm just almost heading now to round up. Important guidelines continue. When you are writing an article, please leave space between heading and text throughout your article. Don't clog your papers, give space between heading and the contents. And of course, check your spelling thoroughly. Can you see? Check your spelling thoroughly. And that is why it is important to also send your paper to proofreaders. They help, of course, in checking your spelling. Sometimes little mistakes. Even professors do make mistakes in spelling. Can you see? So check your spelling thoroughly or properly. Another thing is that check your grammar. Can you see? Grammar. Check your grammar. And of course, this is also why the proofreader is very important when you write. Can you see? Not just say, oh, I'm a professor. As such, my grammar is 100%. There are specialists, there are experts, there are people who call the grammarians who studied grammar. If you want your paper to be published in a top index journal, always send your paper to a proofreader before sending it to a journal. All right. And of course, check your phrasing, your sentence construction. Can you see? Your sentence construction. Check how you phrase. Can you see? Some phrasing may not actually make sense. You may phrase out of point while you are trying to paraphrase other people's idea. Can you see? So check your phrasing. Make sure it is making sense. Read it again and ask yourself, does this make sense to me? Can you see? Don't just write. Check your paraphrasing also. Can you see? You don't just copy somebody's work and put it there and of course acknowledge him. That is plagiarism. It will pick up by turnitin and of course authenticate. Can you see? So paraphrase properly. If you're taking an idea from someone and after paraphrasing, also acknowledge the person. Don't say this is I have already changed the wording, so it's my work. No. I remember a colleague telling me he wrote an introduction without even a single reference. I told him, how did you come about this introduction? He said, it is from his brain. I told him, you lied. These are historical facts. So it cannot come from your brain. You must have read it somewhere from a newspaper, from a magazine, from a textbook. It is not coming from your brain. Can you see? So even if you have it in your brain, studying your brain, you must have had it from somewhere. Can you see? Acknowledge those sources. That is academic writing. Can you see? All right. Now, another aspect is peer review your paper. Can you see? When you finish writing, give it to your colleagues. Don't be shy. Give it to, my friend, can you please help me to see whether this is making sense? And you say, it's very important. And of course, peer review before submitting to a journal, because the journal will also peer review your paper. Can you see? Double blind review. So that will actually enhance the quality of your paper. Proofreading and editing is very, very important for any article that will really get to a top index journal. All right. Now, key question to ask yourself after writing a paper. Readability. The first thing is, does your paper communicate? Does it communicate? Is it clear? Is there a logical progression without unnecessary duplication? Another thing is originality. Is the paper original? The purpose for writing. What is new coming out from your paper? Can you see? You must let your readers know what is new. Credibility. Are the conclusion valid? Are the conclusion of your paper valid? Is the paper robust? Is the methodology of your paper robust? Can it be replicated somewhere else? Is it honest? Is your paper honest? Is there academic honesty in your paper? Do not hide any shortcoming. Like I told you, the issue of not acknowledging a limitation in my paper, and a reviewer was able to know that. You see, do not hide any shortcoming of your research. You'll be caught. You see. Then, of course, applicability. How do findings apply to the world of practice? Does it pinpoint the way forward for future research? Then, of course, internationality. Does it take an international global perspective? Your paper must not just be localized. Your paper should also be fitted within the international context or the global context. Now, finally, we're coming to almost the second to the last slide, or the last slide. Now, selected tips for abundant publication in top index journal. Keep one thing at the back of your mind as an academic, an industrialist, or a student. You either publish or perish. Keep that slogan at the back of your mind if you want to excel. And of course, in order for you to publish, there are ways to go about it. The first one is single authorship on your postgraduate works. Single authorship on your postgraduate work, either a PhD, master's, or honors project. Can you see? And of course, another aspect is collaborations. And when it comes to collaboration, collaborate with your students. Don't say these are honor students, they are not right for research. No, you can start building them up from the honors level, even from the undergraduate level into research. And among these, you will discover even that there are some genius among them that can produce impeccable ideas that are publishable. Can you see? Of course, you as the mentor will have to enhance the quality of the paper to get it published somewhere. Of course, the next one is peer collaboration. Collaborate with your peers, within your organization, within your institution, within your academic environment. Can you see? When you collaborate, you share ideas and you improve yourselves. And of course, the next one is industrial collaboration. Collaborate with industry. There are instances where industry will invite you as an academic or researchers to unravel certain challenges that they are facing in their workplaces. Definitely, from that collaboration, you can take permission from the industry that you would like this paper to be published to solve other problems in other industry. That is industrial collaboration. Another aspect that, of course, in terms of tips for abundant publication is attend conferences and seminars. Can you see? Attend conferences and seminars. When you attend conferences and seminars, you hear a lot of different ideas. You see how people unraveled some of the research problems. And of course, you see also different methodologies. What is the reading orthodoxy within your field of inquiry? Can you see? So attend conferences and of course, seminars. Then of course, the next one there is diversify the kind of research you do. Can you see? Diversify, you have to engage quantitative, qualitative, theoretical. You're not quantitative, you have to go into the field to gather some data from participants or respondents. Then why doing quantitative? Why gathering those papers? You can sit down and write conceptual papers, which doesn't need you to go to the field. So by doing this, you have achieved two things: waiting for participants to respond for your quantitative paper and writing conceptual or theoretical papers. All our research, according to Emerald Journal, they have different types of research. They have viewpoint, they have conceptual paper, they have quantitative paper, they have qualitative paper, they have what they call pure research. Right, you see? So don't just cage yourself in one part and say, I'm a quantitative researcher. I do hear that most often at my institution at UJ. No, a researcher must engage with other research, not just quantitative and remain in quantitative or qualitative and remain. When opportunity comes in the quantitative arena, look for a quantitative researcher to blend and chunk out papers. Can you see? Another aspect is diversify where you get your work published. Can you see? Diversify where you get your work published. Different indices. There are different indices. For instance, according to the approved top indices in South Africa, we have World of Sciences, which is ISI, Thomson Reuters. We have Scopius. In fact, at a particular year, our research department advised us to target Scopius index. You know, it seems Scopius indices are even more highly cited. Can you see? You know, so another index and top index is International Bibliography of Social Sciences. And each of these indices, in fact, South Africa has the list, has more than 500 journals where you can contribute your paper. So you need to go to those indices and select the best out of them, depending on the journal you want. All right. So diversify where you get your work published, different indices. And of course, apart from indices, look for also different reputable journal organization or publishers. For instance, Emirate Journal in UK has more than 200 different journals in different fields anyway. And of course, we have also the one that I think it is by the Chinese, which is called Indus Science Journals. I'm not sure whether it is owned by Chinese, but we have a lot of Chinese chief editors in that journal, and they're doing pretty well. They have more than 358 different journals where you can contribute your paper to. And of course, we have another organization that is NDBI, which has almost 381 journals. Can you see? Which is a very good outlet. In fact, most of the impact factors of NDPI is quite high. In fact, I have contributed paper to Sustainability Journal, which is an NDPI journal. Can you see? And it's a top index, highly recognized, and it is based in Switzerland. And of course, we have, of course, Sage Publication. In fact, Sage Publication has taken over a lot of journals in India today. For instance, the Indian Economic Journal has been taken over by Sage Publication. And of course, so many journals by Kamla Raj, which is situated in Ambala, has also been taken over by Sage Publication. And of course, within South Africa, we have our own Oasis, which houses also a lot of journals. For instance, South African Journal of Human Resources Management, South African Journal of Industrial Psychology, and of course, South African Journal of Business Management, and so many other journals. And of course, many of their journals are both Scopius and IBSS Index. All right. So diversify. There are so many journals. Don't restrict yourself to a particular journal. I remember when I started publishing at CPUT, I realized that many academies were just restricting themselves alone to most of the South African journal, Department of Higher Education journal, which is why they were not publishing prolifically. Can you see? But in fact, from CPUT, I started publishing in journals in India, like Asian Economic Journal, Asian Journal of Business Economics, and of course, Indian Journal of Economics, and of course, Kamla Raj, and so many journals in India that were IBSS Index as of then, and of course, some Scopius Index. And people were wondering, wow, how are you getting it published? And in fact, some who claim to be professors started learning from me, and they started throwing their papers outside South Africa. Can you see? Because initially they were restricting themselves to South African environment alone. So there's a need to look outside. Can you see? Because the world, if you go to the Soviet bloc, you see a lot of reputable journals in Scopius Index. Can you see? They are looking for papers. So don't restrict yourself to Europe alone. Don't restrict yourself to India alone. Don't restrict yourself to South Africa alone. Don't restrict yourself to Nigeria alone. There are uncountable journals across the globe that needs good papers. Okay? So as far as you have good papers, you get yourself published. All right. Now attend to conferences and seminars. I have spoken about that. Diversify where you get your work published, both regional, and of course, different indices. When we talk about region, that's what they call politics of publication. Can you see? There are certain regions you send a particular topic and a particular title to, they will reject your paper outrightly. But there are certain regions you send that same paper to, they will accept it within 2 days. Can you see? Why? Because that particular topic is favored by that particular region. For instance, during the advent of globalization, there were some regions that were really opposed to globalization. If you send a paper that is actually opposing globalization to that region, they will get you published. That if you send your paper, that same paper to Europe or America that were fronting globalization, you'll be rejected. Can you see? So that is the politics of publication. You should keep that in mind. And in fact, if the people in Europe or America so love your paper, they can actually kind of indirectly persuade you to tune it to favor their own economic ideology or their own perspectives. All right. So that is that. Target some new open access journal. Open access journal is very beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Because papers in open access journals are more cited. That will increase the citation of your paper. And we have so many big journals now in the open access space. In fact, major big publishing houses are now moving into open access space. Get your work published in open access. And of course, you will be well cited. And of course, it will bring recognition because people do not buy papers published in open access. It is free of charge for readers to read papers in open access, unlike closed access, where they have to buy journal articles. Can you see? The authors or institutions of the authors have already paid, can you see, for the papers published in open access. So as such, it is free of charge for the public. And that is why open access nowadays seems to be more cited than the closed access previously big journals. All right. Now, all the search out for accredited publication outlet, like I told you, South Africa has already a big list of where to throw your papers and get your work published. So all the search out for accredited publication outlets. In fact, University of KwaZulu-Natal always publish every year the approved list of accredited journals, both in World of Sciences, that is ISI, IBSS, Scopius, and of course, last year, South Africa have added the Directory of Open Access Journal as part of the indexing body that is approved by the Department of Higher Education and Training. All right. So, review for journals. Participate in reviewing for journals. When you review for journals, you learn the trick. Can you see? And you begin to write quality papers also. Can you see? You contribute in terms of your review, and of course, you learn from other authors, can you see? So that is how you can actually start publishing also abundantly in top index journal by learning from others. Be part of editorial teams through board of journals when invited. Don't shy away from joining board of journals. If you are invited, see how you can contribute. Be part of it, because as you are part of the board of journals, you will also learn also from other contributions. And of course, you will also be invited if there's a special issue to most of the journals, and you will contribute your paper also there in a top index journal. And of course, I would like to tell you that do not get discouraged when your paper is rejected by a journal. Don't get discouraged. When the paper is rejected and they requested something, revise it, send back to them. If they reject it again, don't throw your paper away. Many people have been discouraged by rejection. Don't get discouraged, can you see? Don't get discouraged when a paper is rejected. We all face that. Even myself as a professor, sometimes my paper may be rejected, but I review the paper until one day I will get it published elsewhere. I give an example. When I was completing my PhD, there was a paper I submitted to Codestra in Senegal, which is an African journal. And in fact, they rejected the journal, they criticized the journal, and in fact, I became scared, So coincidentally, when they sent back the feedback, they copied my supervisor, Professor Slabbert. And because Professor Slabbert's name was part of the paper as a co-author, he felt humiliated. I said, Wilfred, bring that paper. So he gave me some insight, what I should do in that paper. And he told me, don't send it back to them, send it to another journal. So I sent it to International Journal of Social Economics, which is Emirate Insight, a top index Scopius journal. And immediately I sent to Scopius in Europe, just 2 weeks, they responded, they accepted my paper with minor corrections. I was surprised. Now imagine an African third world journal rejecting my paper. Now, a first world journal accepted my paper within 2 weeks. What does that tell you? So don't get discouraged when you are rejected anywhere. You see, somebody else may even appreciate your paper. And right from that moment, I started publishing in Emirate Journal anyhow. Can you see? The way I like, because their simple approach actually encouraged me. Can you see? So that is that. And after some time, I could just trust that now. So in fact, when they published, I was still a very young guy who can actually pose then. When I published my paper, I sent it to the editor of Codestra. I said, look at the paper you rejected in a third world country, was published in a third world. How do you explain this? And in fact, the editor started apologizing to me. Say, these are things from the reviewer. And the editor started inviting me to contribute paper to their journal. Can you see? In fact, the editor of the journal then was Professor Amadou Sassi, And in fact, there are even some papers that Professor Sassi have reviewed for me. So that is it, Then, of course, do not get discouraged when your paper is rejected. And I would like to advise every one of you that want to venture into the realm of abundant research to keep on moving, and you will surely get there. I wish you all the best. Shukriya, and thank you very much. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Kasa.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I will request my anchoring team to take over.
Yeah, take over. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm on the line.
Now I request Ms. Neha to thanks.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. Honorable trustees, respected principal, head of MBA department, all faculty members, most valued invited guests, and all my dear friends. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all dignitaries. I, Neha Kulkarni, on behalf of SNJB's late Sir KBJCOE College of Engineering and entire MBA department together, express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of webinar for their presence and contribution to make this webinar a great success. I express my gratitude to our most valued invited guest, Mr. Wilfred Ukpere sir, to take out time from his busy schedule to grace the event. Thank you, sir, for your valuable guidance. In this great session, sir guided us on what are the importance of research publication. He thrown a light on how to make students and faculty aware about the different concern of publication. Sir motivates students for abundant publication. Thank you, sir, for this valuable wisdom. A special thanks. Yes, sir. A special thanks to the Dean of University of Nigeria, Professor Vincent Onodogu sir, our respected Principal Dr. M.D. Kokate sir, Vice Principal Dr. M.R. Sanghvi sir, Head of MBA Department Dr. A.R. Bora sir, Event Coordinator Dr. U.S. Kasar sir, who encouraged us for arranging this session and provided immense support to make webinar successful. I would like to thank all faculty members for smooth functioning of this event. I also extend my thanks to all my friends assembled here. Once again, I want to state that we all are most grateful to our resource person, Mr. Wilfred Ukpere sir. We thank you, sir, for being with us this great afternoon. It's been a great pleasure. According to the Indian culture, every program wind up with national anthem. So I would like to request technical team to play national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Thank you, technical team. Now, I would like to request you all for give your valuable feedback regarding this session. Feedback link we will share with you very soon. And now, I humbly request you all for switch on your cameras for capturing a group picture.
Professor Wilfred, thank you so much. It was a wonderful session.
Thank you very much.
Sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that wonderful presentation. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sorry, just a minute.
Satish, can you take the photograph?
Thank you.
That was great, Prof. I benefited. Thanks
you very much.
your cameras. Please put on your cameras.
Thank you, Prof.
All the participants.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's been so wonderful. So wonderful. So wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Let's hear it.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, can I make an announcement?
There is an important announcement.
Let me lend my own word of thanks to SNJB faculty for taking this. Thanks to also Professor Bora and Professor Mark for arranging this session. Want to take in a special way also Professor Wilfred for this session. But let me say that this session is continuing. We have some peace and quietness. This partnership is continuing. I expect faculties of business and all three, let me say all the tripartite faculties, that of University, University of Nigeria, and that SNJB, for us to collaborate in writing journal articles. We need to find a time to exchange ourselves. If you want to write on a particular topic, you can bring it up, send it to the leadership of your faculty, and those who are interested will collaborate with such a person, and they will write and they publish such an article. That's the essence of this partnership. It does not end in a session of this nature. It should go beyond this section so that we can find people that share common interests in a particular research area so that we can publish together. That's the current trend in publishing. You cannot publish alone again. In fact, most international journal articles or journals don't accept articles from sole authors because they have to do a lot of work on it. So that's part of the benefits or of the takeaway from this kind of collaboration. And I also need to mention that tomorrow we have another session on data analytics, and somebody from a leading faculty from Harrisburg University, United States of America, a visiting professor in our place in our University of Nigeria, will also be anchoring that one. I will also join us to be part of that session. I think the partnership continues, and I want to thank all of us for this time. Over to you, Bora and Shamak. Thank you all for being a part of this. Thank you all. God bless.
Thank you so much, Professor Vincent, for
Thank you. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, with the permission of all respected people, I declare that the session is over.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sir.
Bye.
All the best. Hope we will have this kind of sessions in future also.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Sure, sir.
Thank
Get
you.
back to you, sir.
A wonderful presentation.
Thank you
Bye.
very much. Bye.
Expecting the flyer for tomorrow. The flyer for tomorrow. That for tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. I will just forward you, sir.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Bye bye.